is the adaptation of Stephen King's classic novel, It, and this is not the first adaptation of It that we have seen. In 1990, we had a miniseries that was based off of the same book, and it starred Tim Curry. So, just in case if you guys don't know what the story of It is, I will tell you right off the bat. So, It is the story of a group of bullied kids who go by the name of the Losers Club. They live in Derry, Maine, where half of Stephen King's stories take place. And they start to notice some weird things happen, like all these kids go missing, some of the adults act weird, and that's when they come across a clown named Pennywise, who is played by Bill Skarsgård. So, before I get to my thoughts on this version of it, I will explain what I think of the book and what I think of the miniseries as well. I haven't read the book, so I can't draw any comparisons to it, so sorry. Haven't read the book, just right at the bat. And I've seen the 1990 miniseries, and I watched it for the first time back in July, I believe, and I'm just gonna say it sucked. I hated it. It was so boring. It went on for way too long, which I understand because the book was over 1,000 pages long, and the miniseries was like 3 hours long, but I'm sorry, it sucked. It was terrible. The adults were so boring. Okay, I will say this. When it focused on the kids, it was interesting. But when it focused on Pennywise, no. But a pro I can say about the miniseries is Tim Curry. He was great as Pennywise. So walking into this version of It, I wasn't expecting much. I was excited for it, but I was a little nervous because horror movies these days have not been very good. Like, we had some great ones, like for example, The Conjuring, Get Out, and a few other ones. But horror movies these days have not been that great. And when I walked out of it, I was so happy. I loved this movie. I loved just about everything about this movie. In fact, it might be the best horror movie I've seen all year in 2017. So let's start with the things I loved about this movie, because there are a handful of things I loved from this movie. For example, the acting. Oh my gosh. The kids in this movie do a fantastic job. I can't wait to see what they do in the future. All the kids in this movie are phenomenal. And my favorite one out of all of them was Richie, who is played by Finn Wolfhard, who also plays Will in the show Stranger Things, which is a great show, by the way. And I loved Richie. He was so funny. Every time he was on screen, I was like, yes, I love this kid. He's so funny. And this movie is rated R, which doesn't really surprise me. And does it earn the R rating? Yes, it absolutely does. The minute the movie started with Georgie talking to Pennywise in the sewer, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is rated R, right? And I gotta give a shout out to this guy. When I heard Bill Skarsgård was cast as Pennywise, I was not excited. I was like, really? This guy? But when I was watching the movie, I was so happy. Because Bill Skarsgård killed it as Pennywise. He was excellent. He knocked it out of the park as that character. He was scary, he was creepy, he was surprisingly funny, and they do use CGI on him at some parts, and some people may have a problem with that because CGI is everywhere nowadays. However, is the CGI on Pennywise, whenever he tries to kill the kids, is it used well? Yes. For the most part. However, is it noticeable at some parts? Yes. But it is incorporated well, though. And yes, it may be about a killer clown who slaughters kids, but when you really think about it, it's not really about that. It's more about the friendship between these kids and their relationship. And that's what I really liked about this movie. It doesn't just focus on Pennywise too much. It focuses on the characters, because that's what the movie's supposed to do. And that's a huge prop I give to this movie. So, overall, guys, I enjoyed the crap out of it. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was scary. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was surprisingly funny at some parts. I love the story. I love the acting. All the kids did a phenomenal job. I can't wait to see what they deliver in the future. And I loved Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. He knocked it out of the park. Sorry, Tim Curry, but there's a new Pennywise in town. And Another thing that I love about this movie was it didn't focus too much on horror movie cliches. Like, it didn't rely too much on jump scares. Like, were there jump scares in this movie? Yes, but they weren't the focus. However, if I did have at least one negative with this movie is it would be the CGI. The CGI is incorporated well, but it's a little noticeable at some parts. When I was watching it, I was like, that could have been done better. But that's just a small nitpick. This is a great movie. I'm gonna give it an A. And I'm already getting excited for It Part 2. And I believe it's coming out in 27 years? Nah, I'm kidding. I think it's coming out in 2019, so 2 years from now. Okay, guys, that's it for my review of It. And I have a question for you guys. Have you seen It? What do you think of it? Do you prefer the book? Do you prefer the miniseries? Or do you prefer this new movie? Whatever you prefer, comment below and let me know. And if you want to see more videos, just be sure to subscribe.